Edgar Allan Poe was a short-lived but hugely influential poet, critic and author who is attributed with inventing the detective mystery genre and sowing the seeds of science fiction writing. But one mystery persists around a frightening prophecy he seemed to have made in his only completed novel. Or was it an astonishing coincidence? In 1838, Poe published his first and only to be completed novel entitled The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym. The fictitious work tells of a young man who stows away in a whaling ship called the Grampus and as seafaring travels exploring Antarctic regions. While starting as a seemingly innocuous boy's own adventure, the narrative develops a dark side when mutiny erupts on board, followed by a violent storm. One of the mutineers, a sailor called Richard Parker, is spared as he is needed to help sail the vessel. But the chaos sees Pym and 3 other survivors drifting in the ship's hull, but without any provisions. 16 days later, the men have still not sighted land or another ship and are suffering starvation and intolerable thirst. Parker suggests that a crew member must be sacrificed to enable the others to live, and in line with maritime custom, the men draw straws. Richard Parker himself draws the short straw, thereby meeting his end to save the others. Pym survives and is eventually rescued. It all sounds like a good if chilling read, but these events were disturbingly echoed 46 years later in real life. In 1884, 4 men in Southampton, England, were hired by a ship owner to deliver a yacht he had purchased to him in Sydney, Australia. The crew commissioned to deliver the yacht, called the Mignonette, included a captain, 2 experienced seamen and a 19-year-old ship's boy. After a stop in Madeira, the sailors encountered a massive gale which buffeted and tore open the yacht, forcing them to abandon the vessel and launch a lifeboat. In a panic, as the yacht sank, the captain grabbed navigational instruments, water and what he thought were tins of preserved meat. But in the chaos, objects fell overboard and the men ended up with only 2 tins of what turned out to be turnips. They drifted for days without water, slowly consuming the turnips and drinking the blood of a turtle they had caught. After 18 days of burning thirst and desperate starvation, the seasoned sailors started talking about casting lots and who should be the one to perish in order to save the others' lives. They reasoned that the 3 older men had wives and children who would suffer from their loss, and by this stage the youngest crew member, who was single, was very ill and appeared in end-stage exhaustion. As he lay in the hull, drifting in and out of consciousness, they found out that he had been secretly drinking seawater by night, meaning certain doom. The grim decision was made to hasten his demise, and the remains of the unfortunate young man sustained the 3 others for a further 6 days, when they were finally rescued. What is most unsettling about this shocking case of life imitating art, apart from the similarities of the story of the 4 starving shipwrecked sailors? The name of the real-life boy was Richard Parker, exactly the same as Poe's character.